Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the FuriBee X140. This is a micro for 3-inch props, and we have some HQ 3030 4-bladed props. You get two sets of these. You get 3100 kV 1306 motor, and the frame here is a stretched X frame, 140 millimeters motor to motor, and the base plate is 4 millimeters thick, so it's very strong, very stiff. You get a micro CCD camera here. It looks like a Runcam Swift, but it's actually a generic brand. Comes with a 2.3 millimeter lens and 130 degree field of view, and it's also 600 TV lines. The camera that I got was a PAL camera. They don't really specify that in the product description, and so that's something to be aware of, that it's PAL, not NTSC. You do get it comes fully built, and you do get the stack here already installed. 4-in-1 BLES 20 amp ESC bursting 25 amps, and the board here is an Omnibus F3. It comes with Betaflight 317, and I flew with just the stock PIDs, no changes, nothing special. It's the Omnibus F3 with the Betaflight OSD, and then the video transmitter, I don't know what brand it is, but it's a 25 to 150 milliwatts. So the low power is 25 milliwatt, and the high power is 150 milliwatts, not 200 milliwatts. So that's kind of unusual and different. I haven't seen that yet. Comes with an XT60 connector, not an XT30. The version I got here is the FlySky receiver version, and it's just the micro receiver, the RX2A Pro. If you get the, I think it's either the FlySky or the FreeSky, the price is currently about $125. But if you get the version without a receiver, it's only $115. So pretty nice price for what you get, fully built and everything. Comes with everything except for the battery, of course, no battery. I did change out the battery strap to something different. The one that's on here was pretty weak. I have a bunch of these battery straps from previous models, so I just used one pulled up from one of my supplies. On the back here you've got 4 LEDs and a buzzer, and then the video transmitter antenna just comes out the top here, just a linear whip antenna. So as I mentioned, the arms are 4 millimeters thick, and it is a sandwich design here, so these arms, if you do happen to break them, you could replace them, although I couldn't find replacement arms on Gearbest. They'll probably come out at some point in the future. They usually do later. So if you're wondering about replacement parts, they'll probably come out at some point a little bit later. However, these 4 millimeter arms, being the short distance they are here, pretty unlikely you're going to break this unless you are flying over concrete or something on a regular basis. It's pretty strong, 4 millimeters, especially for this lightweight setup. Now the camera quality was pretty decent. I'd say it's pretty much on par with a Micro Swift, pretty close. I couldn't really tell if it was that much difference, but it was definitely a CCD camera, and the light handling was pretty good. So when I flew this model, I flew with a 4S 750 milliamp hour Turnigy graphene battery, a pretty good battery. And I think that it felt a little bit heavy because these motors are a little bit lower kV. It wasn't terrible. I mean, I think I'm kind of more used to a higher kV motor for the 1306 size. I usually fly the 4000 kV 1306 Emax motors on this size of a prop. So you may want to go to a more aggressively pitched prop. So this is a 3030 prop. Maybe go to something like the Gemfan 3052 tri-blade prop. That's going to be, it's going to probably generate more power, and obviously you're going to draw more amps as well. On a 750 I flew probably 3 minutes and didn't even drain half the battery. So it's pretty efficient on this setup, although if you're looking for maximum power, this is probably not going to give you maximum power. Power is decent, it's not great, but I think you're going to get more flight time in this setup. So in terms of the weight here, this fully set up here without the battery comes in at 134.5 grams. And just for comparison, my Ascent 3-inch build here, same props, 33 HQ props. These are using the Emax 1306 4000 kV motors, but I have a Runcam split in here. And this one weighs 145.5 grams, so it's about 10 grams more, but I have HD recording on this model. The base plate's thinner than the 4 millimeters here, so I think it's more likely to break, but it is lighter. And the higher kV motors I definitely feel more power from these motors, especially on the top end, because the motor does spin up quite a bit more on the high end of the throttle. Although on this one, I'm using an XT30 and an XT60, so I am a little limited on the amps. But I'll be doing more testing in this one later in terms of battery. I've gotten some better, smaller, like 650, 500 milliamp hour 4S LiPos. So I'll be doing some more testing on this later, and then maybe doing some more comparisons with this one later as well. So one more thing to note is I did not run reverse props on this model because the threads on these motors are reversed on, I think it's motors 2 and 3. So if I reversed all the motors, then basically the torque of the motors is going to loosen the screws on all 4 motors, which is something I don't want. If you want to reverse the motors, you should desolder the motors and actually physically move them, because if you have reverse props, or sorry, the reverse nut, the reverse threading, the torque of the motor actually causes the nut to loosen. Now these have lock nuts, but still, you know, you're increasing your chance of a nut falling off by 100% instead of 50%. All 4 of them will be in danger of being reversed off versus just 2 of them. So I left that alone. The props are rotating the normal way, and I just flew with the stock flashed firmware here. It's Betaflight 317 with the stock PIDs. I didn't touch the PIDs at all, and I'll just put them on the screen here. You can see what they are. So there's nothing really much in terms of configuration. This will fly pretty good right out of the box if you don't want to deal with flashing and tuning and all that kind of nonsense. If you're looking for a model to fly, take it out of the box and then just set it up. Basically all you have to do is just put in a switch for arming, or you can just still do stick arming, of course, if you prefer that, and you can just charge your battery and go and fly. So it's a pretty easy setup for this model. Okay, so I'm going to be flying this demo with the Turnigy Graphene 750 milliamp hour 4S LiPo. It's pretty smooth. Feels a little on the heavy side. These graphene batteries are a little bit heavier. All right, let's try a punch out here. No beeps. That's good. No fluttering, so the tune seems alright. Just running on stock, I think it's 317. Alright. Let's see how it does in acro. Yeah, this model does feel a bit heavier. You get on the throttle a little quicker. It does sound pretty smooth. It does drop pretty quickly though. So I gotta say, for $115, this model is pretty impressive for what you get. If you're looking for something that is pretty easy to set up and doesn't really require much tuning, you can see here I didn't really do hardly anything at all to get this in the air. I probably spent about 10 minutes setting it up, and it flies pretty well. Very few bounce backs, no vibrations. It's very smooth in the air. All the components seem to be working well. You got good video. And the only thing that I feel is a little bit lacking is the power because of the lower kV motors, but still, I can do power loops, no problem. It has power, it's just that I think I'm a little bit spoiled with all of the fancy gear that I've been getting lately and flying with really powerful stuff, that you get a little bit spoiled and kind of expect that you're going to have tons of power in every model you get, but for the price, you really can't complain. And the camera here is actually pretty good. I would say on this kind of a cloudy day like this, usually the CMOS cameras will do very poorly. The light handling is pretty good on this day, and I'd say this camera is just pretty much on par with a Runcam Swift. I mean, it's maybe a little bit more grainy, but the light handling is excellent, and I have no complaints about the camera. So yeah, if you guys want to check this out for $115 and want to get into the micro game, this is definitely one to get, I think, because it's fully built. It pretty much works out of the box with the stock tune, and I think that you guys will be pretty happy. You obviously will have to add a battery and a receiver. Those aren't very hard to do, and won't take that much time. And if you use like a battery in the 600 to 800 milliamp hour 4S range, I think you'll find that flies pretty well. Anyway, guys, I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to check this model out. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.